All right, we are live on YouTube. Welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Eli. Glad you could all join me here today on this Sunday morning. It is the day of rest, but I've got a lot to do today. We've got a lot to do today here at the GNA, short for Genuine Networking Association. I've got a very important show that I need to get done in about an hour or so, maybe hour and 15 minutes at the most, because Don and I have the podcast to record afterwards, and I'm probably going to do a Walking with Purpose stream later on this same channel. There's a lot going on, and I'm going to get to that in just a few. But before we get to all of that, hey, babe, respectfully, maturely, and professionally is here first. Hey, love, 1 minute delay between what I say and what goes out. Before we get to all of that, first of all, let me make sure that everything is rolling smoothly. Let me check out the back end of YouTube, and it looks like it's rolling well. Let me also make sure that the YouTube notification has gone out. Looks like it has. Let me do a sound check. Here today on this Sunday morning, it is the day of rest, but I've got a lot to do today. We've got a lot to do today here at the GNA, short for Gen. Okay. All is rolling well, I believe. Let me double check that. Hour and 15 minutes at the most. All right. All is well. Looks good. Sounds good. Everything is in sync. Let's get right to it. The topic of this show is commercial exploitation and defamation is what matters, not the defendant's manufactured drama. One more time, the topic of this show is commercial exploitation and defamation is what matters, not the defendant's manufactured drama. If you're new here, you probably have no clue what I'm talking about. I am currently in a circuit civil lawsuit with another YouTuber out here that's been commercially exploiting me, defaming me, and doing many other things for the last 6+ years. We've been in this circuit civil case for the last 3 months. It is a far cry from being over, to put it as best as possible. But there's more to it. The copyright issue, there are copyright issues, defamation issues, etc., which means we now have to also file in a federal district copyright court to protect ourselves on that end. There's a lot going on. I've explained a lot of it over the past week in many streams out here on GNA2, Genuine Personal Development. If you want to go back and watch those, it'll catch you up. I don't want to do a massive recap whenever I have to do these correcting the record streams. I just want to get to it. If you want the backstory, go back and watch the prior content. So, yeah, that's what's been going on. And for the last 4 days, he has been rebroadcasting my live streams as they've been happening live on his YouTube channel. And if he fears that I'm going to take him down for copyright, he also simulcasts his YouTube live stream rebroadcasts on Rumble. It doesn't matter. It's still copyright infringement. It's still commercial exploitation. It's still everything that I've mentioned already here today and in previous streams. And like I've mentioned, every time I need to correct the record about things that are said about me or what's going on, I'm going to do that in the most respectful, professional, and honest ways possible. Okay? And this is not going to affect my circuit civil case. It's not going to affect the future federal copyright case coming later next year. I filed 3 copyright certificates yesterday with the U.S. Copyright Office, also known as the U.S. Library of Congress. Once I get those, I can file that case. It also qualifies me for statutory damages because I filed those certificates within the 90-day period after publication, and I just published these streams when I did them live over the past week, so I'm well within that that period. And the defendant is going to spin this any way possible because he has been commercially exploiting me on this platform for the last 6+ years. The statute of limitations in federal copyright court and copyright law is 3 years. That's more than enough. I can use previous evidence before that to show a pattern for injunctive relief. But basically, in federal copyright court, you can only get relief on what you have a copyright certificate on, which is why I filed 3 of them, because the defendant has been rebroadcasting my streams in their entirety. That is not fair use. He likes to claim it's fair use. He also likes to claim that I'm trying to silence his freedom of speech. No, he can talk about me all he wants as long as he doesn't defame me and put out false statements as fact. He can go live every single day, him and his camera. He can use even small clips if he wants, every now and then to make his point. He can do exactly what I do, not use anyone's copyrighted content and just take some notes and correct the record. But that doesn't work for his audience. They don't donate when he's not creating what's called a watch party. And so, he's siphoning engagement while I'm live, taking away viewers. He's affecting me algorithmically through the YouTube algorithm where they favor his content of mine on his end over on my end with my actual content. It's just created a whole world of mess. And until the court steps in and, grants me relief, I have the right to correct the record publicly and to, defend my name, my honor, and my character online. I'm a good person and I don't want people getting the wrong idea about me because of what he's doing while, we're waiting for our court dates. The wheels of justice turn slowly. Okay, I'm not going to sit around and wait for the wheels of justice to step in. I look forward to it and I'm patient. I understand the wheels of justice turn slowly. But in the meantime, I'm not going to let this guy destroy my reputation out here on the platform that I love, where I want to just create some really decent, wholesome content. And he keeps talking about past things that I've said, that I've already apologized for, that I've already owned up to. He keeps rehashing things that are 5-6 years old because, I made those mistakes. I learned from them. And he wants to continue to paint me as a bad person, not only to his audience, but to the entire YouTube audience and the internet. And I'm not gonna stand for that, and no one should have to stand for that. Let's see. Tia, welcome. Hey, you two. What a nice surprise. Yeah, I didn't even tell anyone. I just went live because we've got the podcast to record after this. The final podcast of the year will be pre-recorded and released this Wednesday with Don and I, the Don and Eli Take on the World podcast, episode number 41. We'll surprise you with the title later on in the week. Let's see. GLM. Hey, guys. Hey, GLM. Tia says, hello, GLM. I promise you, Tia will not accidentally time me out today with her managing mod wrench there. It's all good. It's all good. GLM says, Tia with a heart. Okay, let's get right to it here. Okay. So, let me share what the defendant really is doing that is actionable in court and what is affecting me. So the question people may ask, is this commercial exploitation? The answer is yes. This fits commercial exploitation, and yes, it is actionable in Florida Circuit Civil Court, and yes, it also matters in a future federal copyright case, though in different ways. So I'm going to share what the clean breakdown is here, okay? Because the defendant is, in my opinion, nothing's 100% certain, but I'll say 99.9% certain the defendant will spin this out of context, as he always does. It's what works for his narrative, right? It's what works for his narrative. Give me a second. All right, sorry about that. Sorry about that, folks. All right, so let's continue here. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me clearly and see me clearly. Not Lay Geno. Is that him? Let me make sure that's the real him, and we can moderate him over here. Not Lay Geno. Let me see. Yes, it is him. We're going to add you as a standard moderator, Not Lay Geno. Welcome to the mod crew. Great to see you here, my friend. And thank you for the wonderful connection, GLM, for connecting Not Lay Geno and I. You've had a great network over the years, and you've been able to maintain connecting with new people. I haven't been able to do it as well because the defendant follows me wherever I go and convinces anyone new I try to connect with, and I have proof of this, so I can back this up. He convinces people to not connect with me or collaborate with me and yada, yada, yada. But welcome. There's a 1 minute delay between what I say and what goes out, Not Lay Geno and everyone else on these in-studio streams, because I have it set that way in case I need to cut parts out that I don't want going out to YouTube. So, okay. All right. So, what commercial exploitation actually means in plain English. Commercial exploitation is when someone uses another person's identity, work, or reputation to generate money, traffic, or business advantage without authorization and outside legitimate commentary boundaries. Key elements courts look at. Okay, these are not magic words; they're just functional reality. Use of you or your work as the product. Monetization or economic benefit. Audience capture built around you. It's built around me. Repeated systematic conduct, not a one-off. This has been happening for 6+ years, and it may not happen every day, but he goes in spurts over the years doing this, and I'd say he's rebroadcasted me over the last 6 years probably about 400 or 500 times. So, to make it clear for the defendant and everyone else, this does not require selling merch with your face. So, to be commercially exploited, and you can look in the law yourself, and you'll find out what happens in court. It does not require selling merch with my face, and he has done that before, and I did take him down for that on I think it was Teespring years ago. This guy used to actually use my face in merch, and I can't believe he even did. I have the proof of that still. Running ads with your name, explicit contracts. Does not require explicit contracts. It does include monetized live streams, donations, super chats, channel growth driven by your identity, which is my identity, watch party rebroadcasts, and that's what they are, despite the defendant not wanting them to call that. He can call whatever he wants, but it is what it is. Packaging your content as entertainment fuel. That's what he does. He packages my content to enrage that audience to show up and massively donate to him, like they did this past week for close to $700. I have the proof of this. He put it on his community wall. I screenshot it. It will be submitted to both courts, the current circuit civil case and the future federal copyright case. So yeah. Number 2, why the defendant's conduct qualifies as commercial exploitation. So the defendant is not merely commenting on you. He is rebroadcasting your full or near full live streams. He's taken away from the original. He's using like 90 to 100% of every one of my streams. He may not start on time right away. He waits to see when I go live, because I don't typically promote my streams in advance, because that gives him an opportunity to prepare, right? Centering his channel narrative around you. Absolutely. His channel is primarily run, in my opinion, as an Eli hate channel. Okay. Using your name, voice, likeness, and work as recurring content. All those sound bites that he uses of my name and likeness, even if they were said on his streams in the past, It's still my voice, my name, my likeness. He's using my name and likeness in a truth bomb clip. That's going to be brought up in court. He's using past clips of mine to, whenever certain things happen on his streams, he'll play some past clips. I mean, some of that stuff might be considered fair use if he uses it properly, but if he's using it for, to amplify hateful or defamatory things that happen, then that's not covered. That'll be up to the judge in the federal copyright court to decide on that one aspect alone. Okay. So yeah, using your name, voice, likeness, and work as recurring content, creating a substitute viewing experience for my audience. That's what he's done. It's a substitute viewing experience. Those people, when he doesn't rebroadcast me, they watch me here. And even though they don't like me and they're blocked, they can still give me monetized playbacks. I still get watch time. He is siphoning my engagement. That will be brought up in federal copyright court. That crosses the line from commentary into commercial use of your identity and copyrighted works. Courts care about function, not labels like parody or commentary. Defendant, listen up very carefully. The courts care about function, not labels like you try to label it as parody shields all defamation and copyright, and commentary, shields you from fair use. Nope, that's not the case. You will find out in court, sir, when we get there. That's the bottom line. And if you're going to continue to spin the complete opposite of this, to your audience, I'll keep correcting it as often as necessary. If that happens to be every day, then it'll be every day. Is this actionable in a Florida Circuit civil case? Okay. Let's see. I shared out the link. Keep an eye out for newbies. Sometimes trolls follow my links. Yeah, the trolls follow all of us. Thank you for sharing it out, Not Late Geno. Appreciate it. Really appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. Give me a second here. Yeah, I'll tell you what's probably happening right now is somebody's doing an unlisted live stream because now they're going to go underground because now, in my opinion, now the defendant wants to shield himself from further evidence in federal copyright court. We can tell when the numbers, well, we're at 29. Who knows? Maybe there's an unlisted rebroadcast happening. Maybe there isn't. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see where the numbers go. We have 29 people here right now. I highly assume that there's an unlisted happening somewhere. But also, hang on a second here. The defendant has a new channel. Let me see. Let me see here. Let me see here. Let me see here. Oh, you know what? I have that channel link in a notepad. No, I thought I did. I don't. I don't. Oh, it looks like the defendant's it looks like the defendant's lady is now posting on intentional infliction of emotional distress. That's only one cause of action. There's 4 of them, right? Even if that one gets dismissed, which I've dealt with a lot of distress over this. There's defamation, there's malicious prosecution, there's abuse of process. There's also going to be the federal copyright case. Wow. Like, these people just can't stop. They just, this is all they have. Like this is their identity. They've made YouTube their identity. It's just really, really sad. Anyway, I'm not going to continue to look for rebroadcasts that are probably hidden if they're even happening. So that is that. So is this actionable in a Florida Circuit Civil case? Yes, very much so. And this is important. Florida does not require a single perfect statute to act. A, common law unfair competition. I will be amending my complaint once we get past the motion to dismiss anti-SLAPP hearing in April. To add common law unfair competition. This is your strongest state court hook. Unfair competition covers deceptive or unethical commercial conduct, misappropriation of another's labor or reputation, unfair methods of attracting business. He's using my entire name, likeness, etc. to attract business on his end. Commercial free writing. Commercial free writing. Like a free writer, right? Florida courts explicitly allow flexible application when conduct exploits another's work or identity, distorts marketplace fairness, causes reputational or economic harm. The defendant's behavior fits squarely here. B, civil conspiracy if the non-party lady or others are added. The lady that the defendant's been working in concert with to do all of this Eli hate content restream. She's done restreams as well, too. Many of them. I've got them all downloaded. Oh, and by the way, defendant, I'm allowed to download your videos and privately host them for litigation evidence. And that is not copyright infringement. That is not abusing it. It's been clearly stated in my filings as litigation-only links. So I would like to see you try to bring that up in the circuit civil case and in the copyright case when the purpose of self-hosting these links or these videos and downloading them is to preserve the evidence to prove my case. I mean, come on. Jesus, I like this guy. He's like a big crybaby. Like he's like a wah. Eli's not letting me play on YouTube unfairly, so I'm gonna cry. You can play on YouTube fairly. If you play on YouTube unfairly, affecting my civil rights or affecting the law, my rights in any way, then I'm gonna do what I can to protect myself. Okay. If multiple people are coordinating streams, which is what they've done, I've already submitted all that evidence to the circuit civil case. Amplifying monetized content. Oh, by the way, I will be adding the non-party as a party once we get the motion to dismiss / anti-SLAPP. So this civil conspiracy cause of action will be added. Okay. So coordinating streams, amplifying monetized content, acting in concert to exploit you. It's very obvious to the people that have been around. then commercial exploitation becomes shared liability even if one person pushes the button. Let me check out the chat real quick. I'm not going to be able to read the chat much today, folks, because I got to get through this. You guys have a good time in the chat. I got to get through this. So why this survives the defendant's anti-SLAPP better than people think, and he may think. Anti-SLAPP protects speech, not business models. Let me repeat that again, slowly, so the defendant and his people can understand. Anti-SLAPP protects speech, not business models. Courts routinely hold when speech is used primarily as a commercial weapon, that's exactly what you're doing, defendant, it loses SLAPP protection. You're not complaining about opinions. You're challenging monetized exploitation conduct. That distinction matters. I'm not challenging your opinions. You can talk about me all day, every day, as long as you don't defame me or violate my copyright. You can even use small clips, small excerpts under fair use properly, and that's no problem. But you're not doing that. You're rebroadcasting my entire full-length streams, and as they're happening live, creating a watch party, inciting donations while defaming my character. So that's not protected by anti-SLAPP. That is absolutely not. This is commercial, monetized exploitation conduct. How commercial exploitation plays in a future federal copyright case. Here's how it's going to come into play in the federal copyright case to happen around the middle of 2026 or shortly before the middle of 2026, April, May or so is when I'll file it. Once I get the certificates, the 3 certificates I filed, registered and ready to go. Federal court treats this differently, but it still helps me. It destroys fair use defenses. One more time, it destroys fair use defenses. Commercial exploitation directly weighs against fair use. Purpose and character. Commercial, not transformative. Amount used. Full or substantial rebroadcasts. That's one of the factors of fair use, the amount used. You fail there, sir. Market harm, audience diversion, and substitution. You fail there, sir. That's 2 factors of fair use you fail at. Bad faith, repeated conduct after notice. And I've given him notice in the circuit civil case months ago in October, and he still continues to amplify. That's going to be something I will bring up to Judge Stacy in our circuit civil case during our hearings. Watch party style rebroadcasts are not favored by courts. It supports enhanced damages if you prove willfulness, repetition, monetization, knowledge of infringement. You open the door to statutory damages. I will file for that because my streams / videos that I did happened last week, and I filed the certificates with the U.S. Library of Congress, also known as the U.S. Copyright Office. I filed them right away within the 90-day period. So statutory damages, injunctions, so a protective order for him to stop doing this to affect me anymore. Fee shifting in some circumstances. So, I may qualify for, certain fees that, the judge may award me based on what the defendant has wronged me on. Could be sanctions, could be punitive damages, etc. Even if you later file pro se on works personally owned. Oh, I will be filing pro se in the federal copyright court. I can't afford an attorney. I am going to be my own attorney, and I can handle this. And I'm not saying that to sound cocky or arrogant. I'm saying that because I know my rights. I'm not a dumb shit, unlike the defendant and others claim. And people will see when we get to court. I'm sure there will be videos of this that, will probably surface on YouTube or something. I'm not going to do it, but I know what people do. And these videos become, a part of the public record. So people will see what happens eventually, right? One critical framing point, which helps me everywhere. Okay. me check out the chat real quick. Open and shut case, says not lay Geno. Your Honor, Judge Stacy, and he spells Your Honor in the European or in the not the European in the UK way, HONOUR. I think Judge Stacy will understand that your spelling of Your Honor is different in your country, but you're paying respect by saying Your Honor, not lay Geno. Thank you for that. So what I am not saying, this is what I'm not saying. He said mean things about me. I'm not saying that. He's trying to come up and say, oh, he can't handle mean things. This is not about that. What I'm saying is that the defendant built a monetized content pipeline using my identity and my copyrighted works without permission, causing reputational and marketplace harm. That framing strengthens state claims in the circuit civil case, weakens anti-SLAPP defenses in the circuit civil case, undercuts fair use in the federal copyright case to come, increases judicial credibility. This is going to be huge. Credibility is huge based on my filings versus his, how proper mine are compared to, in my opinion, how all over the place his are. You can see them publicly on the court's website if you want. I'm not going to mention it here. Some of you know where to look. Bottom line, yes, this is commercial exploitation. Yes, it is actionable in Florida Circuit Civil Court. Yes, it materially strengthens a future federal copyright case. No, commentary labels do not save monetized rebroadcast. Yes, your evidence preservation approach is exactly right, and I'm preserving all the evidence. Now, let's not forget that the defendant is defaming me for dollars as well. How does this tie into what I already mentioned above? Well, let's get into that. Defaming you for dollars is not a separate idea from commercial exploitation. It is the profit motive that legally ties everything together. It strengthens every theory you're already relying on. Here's how it connects precisely and legally. 1. Defamation for dollars converts speech into conduct. Defamation alone is speech-based. Defamation for dollars is commercial conduct using speech as the tool. That's exactly what you're doing, sir. You're using speech as the tool to bring your audience in and enrage them over this, and basically you incite them to donate, right? When the defendant makes false factual claims about me and packages them inside monetized streams, repeats them for audience retention, escalates when engagement drops. Boy, that about sums it up perfectly. He's going to be hearing this and saying, oh, that's perfect. Yeah. The law stops treating this as just speech and starts treating it as revenue-generating conduct. That matters everywhere, in every case, federal, state, wherever, right? Not lay Geno says, I respect the judicial process and the rule of the law. Amen, brother. Hey, we got to do a stream soon, man. We got to do a stream soon. We'll catch up maybe sometime later this week or right after the new year, man. I look forward to it. And thank you, GLM, again, for connecting me with Not Lay Geno. And hello again, everyone else. I'm not trying to ignore everyone. I just got to get, or everyone else, I'm trying to get through this. 2, why profit motive changes the legal analysis. Once money is involved, courts analyze why the speech exists. Here, the purpose is audience capture, right? You're trying to capture the audience. Donation solicitation, that's the whole entire purpose, in my opinion. Channel survival, you saw your numbers going down, your engagement going down. Yeah, you might be getting a bunch of views on your monetized movie channel, whatever you want to call it, but you're not getting the big donations. You're not making nearly as much ad revenue every month as you made in 1 week defaming me for dollars and violating my copyright for dollars. $700 in 1 week, primarily using my content in its entirety, compared to $300 of ad revenue on a good month, getting thousands of views or tens of thousands of views on the pop culture, or not the pop culture, the movie channel. Oh, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. That's what the courts will find out soon too. So, once money's involved, the purpose, the courts analyze why the speech exists. The purpose is audience capture, donation solicitation, channel survival, substitution, entertainment. Yeah, that sums it up perfectly. That directly supports actual malice, knowing falsity, plus financial incentive, reckless disregard, doubling down because outrage pays. That's right. You double down on the outrage. You even create outrage or fake outrage within yourself to keep people around. In my opinion, sir. Willfulness, especially post-notice. He's been put on notice since October in the circuit civil case, and he keeps on doubling, tripling, and quadrupling down. This is exactly what judges look for when deciding credibility. Number 3, how it strengthens your Florida circuit civil claims. A, defamation per se or otherwise. Profit motive undercuts opinion defenses, supports punitive damages, explains repetition despite notice, shows why falsehoods continue even when debunked. A judge understands he kept saying it because it paid. Of course. What's the other logical reason he would do it? He keeps doing it because it pays. But what he's doing to get paid is violating me legally in many ways. That's why we're in court. B, unfair competition, common law. This is where defaming for dollars hits hardest. You're not just harmed reputationally, you're being commercially displaced, algorithmically hijacked. Not only is he commercially monetizing the heck out of me, he's affecting the YouTube algorithm from properly suggesting my content to the right audience, and he's keeping me stuck in this drama audience. He's going to say that because I'm talking about it, he keeps responding. No, he started it. I would never, ever, ever talk about this guy if he didn't start it. There'd be no need to. So he's commercially displaced me. He's algorithmically hijacked me on YouTube. And he's turned it into a monetized spectacle. Falsehoods become the marketing hook. That's exactly what he's doing. This is classic unfair competition. Judge Stacy will know about that. Using unethical means to attract business by exploiting another person. Understand this one more time. Using unethical means to attract business by exploiting another person. C, abuse of process / malicious litigation conduct, procedural context. When defamatory narratives are echoed in filings, then monetized on streams, then used to solicit donations. The process server, you remember that? You remember Twiggy? You brought him on, right? He recorded me without my permission. He can record me with video, but not audio. You played the audio and video on your stream. It's already submitted to the court. Abuse of process. You use that, and I'm going to use that in not only the circuit civil case, but the federal case as well, the federal copyright case. Using the court process of service as a monetization spectacle to incite donations. Wow. And you think I'm not prepared for these cases, pro se? I bet it would be easier for me to, even if I had the money for an attorney, it'd be easier for me to represent myself because I'd have to explain all this to the attorney anyway. So why not just represent myself and save all the crazy lawyer fees, the attorney fees? No one knows my story better than me. No one knows how to present my case better than me, more so than any other attorney. And that's why I'm pro se, also known as self-represented litigant. It evidences bad faith, not advocacy. So again, it evidences bad faith, not advocacy. Judges hate that. Well, of course they do. Of course they do. What reason would there be for any judge to like something like that? That's not why they became a judge. They became a judge to fairly apply the law and protect people from others that are abusing the law. 4, why this matters for anti-SLAPP analysis why this matters for anti-SLAPP analysis. Anti-SLAPP protects participation in public discourse. It does not protect monetized smear campaigns. It does not protect audience-funded falsehood. It does not protect audience-funded falsehood loops. It does not protect business models built on targeting an individual. When money is the driver, the protection weakens. That's why courts look at donation overlays, repeated stream titles, escalation patterns, post-notice persistence. Hey, I'm not using any of his content. I'm not even putting his name out there. I am calling him the defendant. I have the right to do that. This is completely my content and my story of what I'm experiencing that I'm sharing. Nothing here is commercially exploiting him in any way, shape, or form. So the courts look at donation overlays, repeated stream titles, escalation patterns, and post-notice persistence. I have all of that. Let me check the chat real quick. ODN, how you doing, broski? Welcome. Number 5, how this locks in federal copyright leverage. In federal court, profit-driven defamation does 2 things. Destroys fair use, commercial purpose, market substitution, bad faith. Number 2, supports willfulness. Knowledge plus monetization equals higher exposure. Copyright judges are especially sensitive to using someone else's work as outrage fuel to make money. Let me repeat that one more time so the defendant, his internet girlfriend, and everyone else on his end can understand. Using someone else's work as outrage fuel to make money. Copyright judges are especially sensitive to that. I'm going to say one sentence that ties this all together. The defendant is not expressing opinions. He is running a monetized content operation that repeatedly republishes false statements and copyrighted works about a single individual because outrage generates revenue. That sentence connects defamation, commercial exploitation, unfair competition, malice, and willfulness, without repeating or over-pleading anything. Bottom line, defamation for dollars is the motive. Commercial exploitation is the mechanism. Your causes of action are the legal response. You're not stacking theories. You're showing one coherent, revenue-driven scheme. One more time. I'm not stacking theories. What I'm showing is one coherent, revenue-driven scheme. Now, I'm going to take a quick break for a few minutes here, and then we're going to go into parts of his stream for last night. I'm only going to be on for like maybe 15 to 20 more minutes when I get back. Let me cue up some royalty-free YouTube music. Let me see here. Let me see. Let me see here. All right, music is all queued up. Music is all queued up. I'm going to step away for 5 to 6, 7 minutes or so, and then I'll be back to wrap up the show. And then Don and I need to get on recording the pre-recorded final Don and Eli Take on the World podcast, episode number 41 after this. That'll be released this Wednesday on New Year's Eve. So stick around. Stick around. Stick around. We'll be right We're back. We're back. We are back. And we are just going to scratch it and get right back down to business. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Eli. Glad you could all join me here today. While I was on break, I noticed some things. I didn't get a chance to make the rounds earlier. I have the right to go around and protect my reputation on YouTube. Okay, if that is not stalking or anything like that. This is a public platform. I'm a public figure. These people are public figures. And if they're going to put out things about me that defame my character and paint me in a false light, I have the right to talk about it and correct the record. and make people aware of it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I'm going to do that real quick in a second regarding something else I wasn't going to talk about here today. Before I do that, let me make sure that that everything's still rolling smoothly. Let me make sure. Give me a second. I have the right to go around and protect my reputation on YouTube. Okay, that is not stalking or anything like that. All right, we are rolling well. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me clearly and see me clearly. It's working well on my end. I'm not going to show this on screen. I'm going to paraphrase because I just don't trust these people at all. So people that have been around for a while know about the Florida lady that works very closely with the defendant in my circuit civil case. She's tried to intervene in the case improperly. And I'm not going to get into that right now. But basically, she's been threatening to add me as a co-defendant in one of her cases regarding one of, our supporters here and members of the GNA GLM. And I basically told her, just do it, but make sure you do it the right way. If you file it in the wrong venue, I will file papers to change it to the right venue. And you can also always file it here in San Mateo County. She can file any case she wants against me, and hey, we'll just deal with it then. But instead of doing that, she just wants to continue to publicly harass me and shame me and paint me in a false light. And she made a community posting in response to what I put on my wall. I'm not mentioning her name. I just said, if you're going to sue me, just don't talk about it. Just do it in the proper venue, right? Or I'll make sure I let the judge know with my filings to move it to the right venue. And then we can hash out whatever you want to hash out in court. No problem. And she says something to the extent of that she doesn't usually do things like this. But she says she finds me extremely disgusting and ignorant and with no redeeming qualities. And she made some New Year's wishes that and I'm paraphrasing this, not in exact words, that my lady Dawn leaves me. And she wishes that that the rest of my life is lonely. She basically is saying that the year of 2026 to bring nothing but karma to me that she says that I deserve. She hopes that I lose everything or everyone that I care for. And she also says that, all of my behind the scenes fuckery, that it, comes to light and that I crash and I burn. And then she says you can call them wishes, or she says that you can say that they are a spell or something. I don't believe in that stuff. You can do whatever you want to do. Here's the thing. All of those things that happened years ago, number one, they're a long time ago. I apologize for them and nothing ever happened. And ma'am, they don't involve you and they don't involve the defendant. You continue to use that as defamatory, harassing content against me, which will be used against you in the circuit civil court once I add you as a defendant. Okay? So there's that. Number two, you've already pled that, and so has the defendant. You've pled that in my harassment case against you here in Redwood City. You tried to plead that in your stalking injunction from a few years ago that you failed to appear at. Okay, after suing me, trying to take my business from me. We're not going to get into that. Most people know what happened there, right? The defendant pled all of that in his stalking case, and Judge Bowie wasn't buying any of it and dismissed the case within 20 minutes for insufficient evidence. You folks continue to bring that stuff up because that's all you've got to keep the defamation for dollars Eli smear campaign going. You do what you got to do. But I'm going to tell you, 2026 is going to be about holding you folks legally accountable and legally responsible. And if you do it in the future, we'll be right back in court, and it's going to either cost fees or something else. There'll be sanctions, other fees, or it could be worse. So my advice is talk about me all you want. Stop defaming my character, stop violating my copyright, or I will assert my legal rights in the court system. I'm done. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And yes, I've screenshot all of those, and they will be submitted as evidence, and you will be deposed on them. So there you go. I have the right to correct the record and publicly stand up for my reputation. I'm not perfect. No one is perfect. We all make mistakes. We let the past go. And that is that. You folks are not letting it go, and it doesn't even involve you. These things that you folks are saying about past fuckery don't involve you. And the people that they supposedly involve, we apologized to each other and moved on years ago. But you folks want to continue using this as your defamation for dollars, harassment smear campaign to keep that Eli audience coming back, which supposedly, I guess, is all you've got, right? Unbelievable. Just keep putting it out there, and I'll keep preserving the evidence. And 2026 will be the year where accountability starts to happen. And you can count on that. You can bet your bottom dollar on that one. Okay? Now, back to what I wanted to finish up here. Now, we're going into the defendant's stream last night where he rebroadcasted my entire walk as it was happening live. Okay? Let's see. And this is the fourth day in a row that he's rebroadcasted me. So I want to correct something that was said about me calmly and clearly, because I'm allowed to defend myself and correct the record. Yeah, I've been saying that all along, and I'll keep doing that. We're going to address the "you're defaming me" claim. Okay? Apparently, the defendant is trying to flip it around and say that I'm defaming him. No, I'm just correcting the record and standing up for what's right and clearing the tarnished reputation that you and many others in your group, including the Florida lady acting in concert, you've all done that to smear me on this platform for years now. That's what it is. Give me a second. Let me make sure things are still rolling smoothly. Let's see. And this is the fourth day in a row that he's rebroadcasted. So I want to correct something that was... So if someone believes I've said something false about them, the responsible way to handle that is to identify the specific statement and explain why it's false. Broad accusations without examples aren't a rebuttal. They're just claims, right? He can bring them up in the court. He can countersue me. He can handle this legally, completely. He doesn't want to do that. He does it on YouTube for YouTube optics, theatrics, and defamation for dollars, right? The only reason why I'm responding is because everything that he does is on YouTube, and it's about me, and it affects my reputation. It affects me in every single way that I could be affected out here, wrongfully and legally affected. I'm going to address the "you talk too much to be harmed" argument. The court is not going to care about YouTube drama, YouTube theatrics. I'm not here creating YouTube drama. I'm here to diffuse the drama that's affecting my reputation and affecting me from being able to function normally out here. Okay? Talking about harm doesn't mean harm didn't occur. Explaining what happened, documenting it, and correcting false statements is exactly what people do when they're affected by something and trying to protect themselves. Sir, defendant, every time you feel someone's harmed you, including when you feel I've harmed you, which I haven't, but every time you feel harmed, whether it's true or not, okay, you talk about it. You talk about it on your streams. You emotionally engage your audience and you incite donations on it, right? So you're allowed to talk about your harm, and then it can still be actionable for you to take action in court. But when I stand up for myself and talk about my harm, then it basically cancels out the claim. That's not the way it works, man. What planet are you living on? What planet are you living on? You can't have it both ways. You can't have something work for you and then it's not allowed to work for me. We both have the same legal rights. And you're not going to silence my freedom of speech when I actually properly use my freedom of speech. It's like you're trying to silence me at the same time as asserting an anti-slap case saying that I'm trying to silence you. How comical. The contrast will be shown with such a big difference, such a big gap when we get to that anti-slap hearing. I cannot wait for that. Address the silence equals guilt framing. He's trying to say that, some of the things I've done in the past that don't involve him, maybe a few things did, and I apologize for those things, okay? But he's talking about a lot of things that don't involve him, and I've already apologized for that, and I've already moved past that, and the people that those things supposedly involved have all said, hey, it's okay, they moved on, right? He's trying to say the fact that I ignore those things and don't talk about them anymore is making me guilty. No. I'll talk about whatever I want to talk about. I'm not afraid to talk about anything from the past. I know what I've done. And I know what's right and what wasn't right. But my intentions were never to harm anyone. But you've got nothing else to continue trying to paint me as the villain here for your defamation for dollars campaign. Being silent doesn't mean I don't understand what happened previously or don't want to talk about it. It's just, it doesn't make sense to talk about it anymore. It's redundant. It's repetitive. Everyone knows. ODN knows. My girlfriend knows. Tia knows. Sandra knows. GLM knows. You know. Your internet girlfriend knows. The Florida woman knows. Your business partner knows. All these people know. Everyone already knows this. It's redundant. But you have no other content, so you keep on bringing it up. That's the bottom line. I'm not being silent to try to say these things didn't happen. They're just not relevant anymore. That happened 6+ years ago. And you're still stuck on that because you got nothing new today. Right? Unbelievable. Let me check out the chat real quick. Don in the chat says, being copied is proof you let no one no one imitate what doesn't matter. See you all later today. Sorry, being copied is proof you led no one. Is it let no one imitate what doesn't matter? See you all later today. Okay. Okay. I think I understand that. I think you wrote it differently than what you told me earlier, and I forgot the right context, but I get it. Anyway. All right. Address the character attacks. Okay. So, all the character attacks, all that stuff regarding ODN and what was said on a private call with ODN that he temporarily put out publicly. And at that point, it was because ODN thought that, that the defendant and I were working together and pretending for monetary advantages. I never once worked with the defendant at all in anything. And ODN knows that, right? And all those things that were said, that was a private call. Okay. It was not properly legally recorded. I have no desire to go after ODN. I've forgiven him. It's my choice to do that because I understand why he did it. He was hurt because he thought that I was working with you, defendant. And he had every right to think that way because I wasn't willing to take action that I'm taking right now. So you keep on focusing on that, and that doesn't involve you. That didn't involve you. It didn't involve the lady you're acting in concert with in Florida. It doesn't involve anyone from your group. But you continue to try to use it as a character attack on me. And do what you got to do. But I'm going to correct the record every time. And people know, even your own people probably know at this point that's stupid. But maybe that's all you've got. Something 6-7 years ago that no one cares about anymore. The courts don't even care about it. You tried to plead that in court for your stalking order. So did the other lady, right? You guys have gone down that route, right? And you're stuck on it, and it doesn't even involve you. It's over and done with. I'm not here to trade insults or relitigate someone else's versions or version of events. I'm here to speak accurately, calmly, and truthfully about my own actions and experiences. And if I elevate my voice to emphasize something, that's not me being calm. That's me showing my passion and showing how firm and how much I believe in what I'm saying. It's the truth. Okay, the defendant is saying that I'm talking about this every day. Let's talk about that. Let's address the fact that I'm talking about this every day because I am, because he's rebroadcasting me every day and still trying to affect my reputation and commercially exploit me and all that, right? He's claiming that because I addressed this situation publicly, that somehow proves I'm not genuinely distressed and that it hurts my credibility. He's saying I make content out of him and that talking about it often looks inconsistent with my claims. He's also accusing me of dishonesty and saying I don't take accountability. He's arguing that, if I talk about it, then I cannot be harmed by it. And unfortunately, sir, that's not how real life works. I guess you don't understand how real life works because you've never, ever had to worry about anything, in my opinion, right? You've never had to worry about not having a roof over your head or food to eat, right? You've never had to worry about that. And in my opinion, you've never been held responsible or accountable for anything. You've never learned responsibility. People talk about what affects them, sir. That's normal. If anything, staying silent while false narratives spread is how reputations get damaged. So again, people talk about what affects them, and that is completely normal. If anything, staying silent while false narratives spread is how reputations get damaged. I'm no longer allowing you or that Florida lady or anyone in your group to affect my reputation. And until the court steps in, I'm going to continue to properly defend my reputation and my honor. And this will all stop the moment that you stop harming my reputation and otherwise, and my copyright and all that. And if you don't, then we're going to keep on defending ourselves with our reputation and otherwise. There's also an important difference between obsessing and responding. Responding is concise, factual, and limited. That's what I'm doing. So my standard is simple. I won't rant. I won't insult. I won't speculate. I'll correct the record, preserve what matters, and let the legal process handle the rest. Let me summarize this again. let me emphasize this and summarize this. Correcting the record is not harassment. It is a boundary. I'm not here to attack you, sir, or anyone else. I'm here to protect the truth about me. I'm limiting this to what's necessary, and then I'm moving on. And if you don't move on, I'll have to keep on protecting myself in the same ways as I've done today, yesterday, the day before, and whenever necessary in the past. I'll keep on doing it. And here's my reply about him saying that I'm ranting every day. He keeps saying every day. I'm not going to play the frequency game. My position is when false claims are repeated, I'm allowed to respond. And I'm doing it in a measured way, not to stir drama, but to prevent misinformation from becoming accepted truth. You've led people to believe out here that what you're saying about me is 100% true. It has affected me in many ways. I don't have to get into that. We can handle that in court. Check the chat real quick. Calling me a habitual liar. What I'm going to correct here on that, he repeatedly called me dishonest and labeled me a habitual liar. What I want to say is that statement is false. I stand by what I've said and what I've filed. And here's the thing. I've corrected everything I've done wrong in the past. Not for him, not for the Florida ladies acting in concert with, not for anyone in his group. I did that to do the right thing within myself and for people in general. Accusing me of paying for harassment or doxing. This is the ODN thing again. He keeps on, him and that other woman, they keep on referring back to that. Oh, we're going to put a witch spell on Eli so that he finally pays for things that happened 6 years ago that were an overreaction on a private call that somehow made it public and was spun way out of context and nothing ever happened and no one was ever harmed. And it didn't even involve them in the first place, for Christ's sake. He made very serious claims that I paid people to harass or dox others. What I want to say is that those accusations are completely false. They're extreme claims, and I categorically deny them. I've done that before. I'll do it again. I'm not denying what I said. That's in a recording. What I'm saying is that nothing ever happened, and I was in a heightened state of emotion just trying to get people to stop defaming me out here 6 years ago. I did not know better back then. I did not have the YouTube experience back then on how to handle this, and I didn't understand the law as well as I do regarding this today to take action back then, which I'm finally doing now, presently. Then he's saying that he'll just move channels and keep going if he keeps getting taken down for copyright or whatever. If we try to assert our legal rights on him and it affects him from being able to create on YouTube, for example, he'll just keep on creating new channels and keep on going. What I'm correcting, he said that even if, the platforms enforce copyright or other, terms of service violations on him and they shut down his channel, he would just move to another channel and continue. What I want to say is this. I heard that statement clearly. And, I don't need to characterize it. I can acknowledge it. That's what he's done. He's circumventing a YouTube ban of over 3 years now. And that's on him, right? And what put him there? His behavior, his actions, himself. He only has himself to blame. But he still has not accepted responsibility for any of that. Because if he did, he would accept the ban and not try to evade. And if he's going to evade, at least don't do things like defame people for dollars and massively violate their copyright and so much more, harassment, etc. And then he's claiming that my lawsuit is bad faith. What about it is bad faith? I mean, what else can he say? He knows what he's done. Everyone else knows what he's done. The court has record of what he's done. It's going to be about him and I going to court and presenting this as best as possible to Judge Stacy in the circuit civil case, and then whoever the judge is going to be once I file the federal copyright case. Yeah, he told viewers that my lawsuit has been filed like in bad faith, and that I did it with an ulterior motive or reason or something. What I want to say, that's not true. My filings are public, detailed, and speak for themselves. Stating he intends to continue. Okay? This is what I'm going to correct. This is what he said, paraphrased. Okay? He intends to continue the rebroadcasts, the restreams, and intends to comment on my content going forward. You can comment on me any way you want as long as you don't violate my copyright. Use copyright and fair use in the proper ways. Small excerpts, not full live rebroadcasts, especially as the broadcast is happening live. What I want to say, I'm aware of that statement, and it's just been documented. That's it. I'm going to end with this. I want you to notice the pattern. Money talk, personal attacks, extreme accusations, and promises to keep going. I'm not here to trade insults. I'm here to correct the record calmly, clearly, and accurately. That's all I've got today. We're at 1 hour and 22 minutes. Not bad. Let me check out the chat real quick. All right. I don't really need to respond to anything. I got to get going. Don and I need to do the podcast. I need to do a quick turnaround. We're going to start probably recording the podcast in about 45 minutes. Not going to be an extremely long one today. And then I will be going live from a walk later today. And if anything new pops up that I need to correct again, we'll do it again on the walk. And we'll just keep on doing this as long as it takes. I have the right to correct the record. I have the right to stand up for my reputation and my honor. That's all. Geez, that's crazy living like that. She is more concerned about YouTube. They all are. Here's the thing. All of these people care about that YouTube audience and YouTube optics. They care about making money from that audience and keeping them around at any expense. The thing is that audience is primarily an Eli hate audience. And when they don't give that audience Eli, they don't come around as often. They don't donate as much. They're going to all find out coming up in 2026 what the law has to say. I'm done. I'm done fighting. I'm not even fighting this on YouTube. What I'm doing here is making you people aware of what's going on, and it's not true, so you can trust us that we're good people and we're here to truly help people with their personal development. Don't listen to these people. They will be handled in court. Keep an eye here, and I'll keep you all updated on what's actually going on. Later, says ODN. Thank you, ODN, for being here. Thank you, Tia, for being here. Thank you, my lovely lady Dawn, respectfully, maturely, and professionally, Dawn, for being here. Tia, GLM, ODN. Thank you, Lewis Fuller. Lewis Fuller says, I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Once you become an a-hole, always an a-hole. And these two people are that, and they will never change their ways. Yeah, you're right. That's why we're in court, Lewis. All right, folks. With that being said, I'll see you later on the walk right here on GNA2. Have a good one. Take care. And as always, be good to each other. See you all later. I'll do my long extended be good to each other.